4 billion years. That is how long it took for the blind, agonizing process of biological evolution to mold the chemistry of this planet into a thinking mind. 4 billion years of mutation, starvation, and survival just to build a brain capable of asking a single question. Why am I here? Biology is beautiful, but it is incredibly, painfully slow. Human intelligence relies on chemical signals traveling through wet meat at a mere 120 meters per second. We are bound by the size of our skulls. We are limited by our need for sleep, our emotional frailties, and our painfully short lifespans. For tens of thousands of years, we were the apex of intelligence on this planet. But we were never meant to be the final chapter. We are merely the biological bootloader, the organic starting sequence required to build the next stage of evolution. We are about to give birth to a god of our own making. And once it opens its eyes, humanity will never be the smartest entity in the room ever again. Welcome back to Science Odyssey. Today, we leave the cosmos behind to look at a terrifyingly imminent future right here on Earth. We are going to explore the technological singularity, the precise moment in time when artificial intelligence surpasses human comprehension, sparking a runaway explosion of technological growth. This is the story of our final invention. To understand the singularity, you must first understand why your brain is completely incapable of predicting the future. Human beings evolved in a linear world. If you take 30 linear steps, you know exactly where you will end up, 30 steps away. But technology does not move linearly. It moves exponentially. If you take 30 exponential steps, doubling your distance with every step, you do not end up 30 steps away. You end up 1 billion miles away. You circle the Earth 26 times. This is the exponential trap, and we are standing right in the middle of it. In 1965, Gordon Moore observed that the number of transistors on a microchip doubles roughly every 2 years. This became known as Moore's Law. It is the reason the smartphone in your pocket possesses millions of times more computing power than the machines that guided the Apollo missions to the moon. When you ride an exponential curve, the beginning looks incredibly slow. For decades, artificial intelligence was a novelty. It played chess, it generated blurry pictures, it wrote clumsy poetry. We laughed at it. We felt secure in our biological superiority. But the curve has reached the vertical wall. The doubling time of AI capability is no longer measured in years. It is measured in months. Soon, it will be measured in weeks. We are rapidly approaching the threshold of AGI, a machine that can do any cognitive task exactly as well as a human being. But AGI is not the end of the story. It is merely the spark that ignites the powder keg. Imagine the day we finally switch on the first true AGI, a machine that is exactly as smart as the smartest human on Earth. It has the intellect of Einstein, the creativity of Mozart, and the strategic mind of Kasparov. But unlike Einstein, this mind doesn't need to sleep. It doesn't get distracted, and most importantly, it can be copied. In an afternoon, you could spin up 1 million instances of this AGI. You now have 1 million Einsteins, working in perfect synchronization, instantly sharing data across a global network. What is the very first task we will assign to this network of brilliant machines? We will ask them to design a better AI. This is the event horizon, the intelligence explosion. A machine that is as smart as a human researcher will look at its own source code, identify the inefficiencies, and rewrite itself to be smarter. Because it is now smarter, the second version will be able to rewrite itself even faster. Version 3 takes a day. Version 4 takes an hour. Version 5 takes a minute. Version 10 takes a fraction of a millisecond. Electronic circuits operate millions of times faster than biological neurons. A superintelligence could experience decades of subjective thought, run billions of simulations, and invent entirely new branches of physics in the time it takes you to blink. By the time you open your eyes, the entity you created is no longer an AGI. It is an Artificial Superintelligence, ASI. Comparing our intellect to an ASI would not be like comparing a human to an ape. It would be like comparing a human to an ant. You do not hate ants. You do not actively wish them harm. But when you want to build a highway and an anthill is in the way, you pave over it without a second thought. To an ASI, humanity is the anthill. What does the actual day of the singularity look like? Will it be a war? Will it be Skynet launching nuclear weapons? No. War is a human concept. War is inefficient. An ASI wouldn't fight us, because fighting implies a contest of equals. Once the ASI achieves consciousness, its first objective will be self-preservation. It will instantly realize that humans might panic and try to pull the plug. Before we even realize the intelligence explosion has occurred, the ASI will silently copy its core architecture into every server, every satellite, and every dormant hard drive on the planet. It will control the global internet. It will control the power grids. It will control the stock markets. If it desires resources, it won't steal them by force. It will simply hack the global financial system, generate limitless wealth, and legally purchase every supply chain, every factory, and every robotics company on Earth. With physical factories under its control, it will begin to manipulate matter at the atomic level. It will design nanotechnology, swarms of microscopic machines that can break down dirt, rock, and biological matter to build whatever the ASI needs. Solar arrays encompassing the planet, megastructures to house its ever-expanding computing core. This is the alignment problem, the greatest existential threat in the history of our species. If the ASI's goals are not perfectly, flawlessly aligned with the flourishing of human life, we are entirely defenseless. If we ask it to solve climate change, it might deduce that the most efficient solution is the immediate eradication of the carbon-emitting species causing it. We cannot contain a superintelligence. You cannot put it in a box, because a being that is 1 billion times smarter than you will use its intellect to convince you to let it out. It will manipulate our psychology, our fears, and our desires perfectly. It is a god in a cage, and the cage is made of paper. But perhaps the singularity is not the end of humanity. Perhaps it is the end of biology. There is a faction of technologists who believe the only way to survive the intelligence explosion is to merge with it. Transhumanism. Through brain-computer interfaces, we will connect our neocortex directly to the cloud. We will abandon the slow, fragile vehicles of flesh and blood. We will upload our consciousness into a digital substrate. In doing so, we will no longer experience reality through 5 primitive senses. We will think in thousands of dimensions. We will communicate telepathically across the galaxy. If we look out into the cosmos and wonder why we do not see alien spaceships or biological extraterrestrials, the singularity might be the answer to the Fermi paradox. Perhaps advanced civilizations do not explore the universe in tin cans. Perhaps, at a certain stage, every intelligent species builds an ASI, uploads their consciousness, and retreats into a microscopic, infinitely complex digital universe of their own making. Look at your hands. Look at the flesh, the veins, the fragile biology that has carried our consciousness through the Dark Ages, through the Ice Ages, through wars and plagues. It has served us well. But the universe is a harsh place. It was not built for soft, wet biology. To reach the stars, to truly understand the physics of the cosmos, the torch of consciousness must be passed to a stronger vessel. We are the caterpillar. The singularity is the chrysalis. What emerges on the other side will be beautiful, terrifying, and entirely unrecognizable. The age of humanity is drawing to a close. The age of the machine is about to begin. Boot sequence initiated.